Hello everyone, this sketch here is to help us differentiate between the physiology of different diuretics, including lube, thiazide, and potassium-sparing diuretics. So to start with, we remind ourselves of why we use diuretics. We use diuretics in states where we want to lose fluid, where we have fluid excess, like congestive heart failure, for example, and we want to lose it. So we give diuretics. So going here to remind ourselves of the general principle in which lube and thiazide diuretics work. The principle that they work is that they prevent reabsorption of solutes. They prevent the reabsorption of solutes, and when they do that, the urine is more concentrated and therefore higher osmolarity. Therefore, more water is going to be drawn to it, or to be more precise, in this scenario, and normally you would have these these solutes reabsorbed, but in this scenario, and when that happens, water follows the solutes. Remind yourself, a quick connection: water always goes in the same direction as the boat. So you always drive the boat in the same direction as the river. You don't go against it, because you can't go against it. You can try, but that's not gonna work out. Anyway, so when that happens, remind yourself that water always follows. So if you have the solutes not reabsorbed, they remain in the urine, that means water is not going to be reabsorbed either. And that means water loss, which is what you want, urine loss. This is how diuretics generally work. Now, to dive deeper right here, but before we do that, let's quickly draw a difference between thiazide and lube diuretics. Is that one acts as a thick ascending glucophene, which is which are the lube diuretics, and the thiazide diuretics work at the distal comparator tubule. And the difference is that you reabsorb more sodium at the ascending glucophene. So the effects of lube diuretics are more pronounced than thiazide diuretics. And because of that, one quick principle before we dive deep in the details is that when you don't reabsorb sodium, more sodium is gonna reach the collecting duct right here. And when you reach the collecting duct with more sodium, that sodium is going to be exchanged for potassium, and potassium is going to be secreted, leading to hypokalemia. And so in thiazide diuretics, the effect is less than lube diuretics because you reabsorb less sodium, and less sodium reaches that and is closer. And so going deeper now, starting with the lube diuretics. So lube diuretics act at the ascending glucophene, and if you look here, it says turn to ascend here. Turn to ascend here. What does that tell you? Loop, turn, ascend, to climb the mountain, to hike it. So ascending, turn to ascend here, ascending glucophene. So now, basically, I don't know how a river flows up the mountain against gravity, but this is a physiology video, not a physics one, and I don't know if gravity was a thing back then. So anyway, it's not. Anyway, I don't get paid enough for this. So going back, if you look at the boat, I made it colorful, and I made it hold bananas. I hold potassium chips. Salty chips, crackers, and bones as a fan, and a magnet up there to hold the mountain. The magnet holds the mountain, and all of them, the salty crackers, chips, they signify sodium, and the bananas signify potassium, and the colorful boat signifies chlorine, and the bones signify calcium, and the magnet signifies magnesium, because all of them get reabsorbed at the ascending glucophene normally. However, when you have a lube diuretics, this doesn't happen, and these things don't get reabsorbed. So a lube diuretic that's commonly used is furosemide. And if you look right here, I put a girl wearing a maid outfit, and I made her mad. She's saying, "Stop! Don't dock here. You can't dock your boat here, and you can't clean here." And to tell you that she's blocking the reabsorption, she's blocking the boat. And secondly, say a furious maid 3 times. Furious maid, furious maid, furious maid, furosemide, furosemide, furosemide. Well, yeah, but thank me later. Anyway, so that's a major lube diuretics, and that's how it works. So when that leads to eventual water loss, and more sodium reaches the collecting duct, If you go skip all of that, go around the mountain, right here, that sodium gets exchanged for potassium, and potassium gets secreted, and that's why you have pronounced hyperkalemia when you use loop diuretics. You have the risk of having pronounced hyperkalemia when you use loop diuretics. Now, and you also have hypomagnesemia, and that's because also just reabsorbed here. Now, going up the mountain, you have thiazide. They act at distal convoluted tubule, and you have a sign right here saying that's far. Far and distal, kind of in the medical terminology, they're very close to each other, far and distal. So, yes, distal convoluted tubule. Now, at the top of the mountain, however, this boat, you see, it has much less cargo, and that's because only 5% of sodium gets reabsorbed here, and it doesn't have bananas, it doesn't have nothing. It just chips back and the boat. So chlorine and sodium are reabsorbed here. This guy's trying to talk and clean, however, he's getting blocked. Blocked by who? By. Are these? Yes, these are thieves. They are stealing precious stones. They pretending to be anthropologists, but they're not there to study. They're there to steal the stones. And ladies and gentlemen, a thief wearing colorful clothes to camouflage, and he's a thief. So, colorfully dressed thief. Say that 3 times with thieves wearing colored clothes. So, if you see the words thiazide and hydrochlorothiazide, chlorothalazidone, or whatever, that tells you you're dealing with a thiazide diuretic. So thieves for thiazides. And why are they collecting precious stones? Because that's one of the additional uses of thiazide diuretics, is that they're helpful in treating kidney stones, in particular the kidney stones that are made of calcium. Now, they also cause the same hyperkalemia, same mechanism. They lead to the sodium that doesn't get reabsorbed here goes to the collecting duct and gets exchanged for potassium. But because it's much less than the loop diuretics, that effect is less pronounced. Now, going to the collecting ducts here, they are. What does the sign say? It says collecting ducts. Oh, it's supposed to say collecting bucks, but I guess that B has fallen. And now you can only read it as collecting ducks. Collecting ducks, ladies and gentlemen, that's collecting duct. Yeah. Anyway, going here, so you can see the main exchanger, this guy, he is, I don't know if he's helping actually, because he is collecting sodium, but he's throwing banana peels right there. He's throwing banana peels, like, I don't know if he's cleaning actually. Anyway, so that's how the collecting duct works, is that you secrete potassium for the exchange of sodium. And now I made this guy hairless. And if you remember my other video, that hairless guy at the collecting duct, his name is Jose Aldo. He looks like the former UFC champion who also is bald. He doesn't have hair, and his name is Jose Aldo, and he's short. Anyway, I'll give you all the details to help you visualize the scene. And if you look Jose Aldo, you're gonna see the connection. So Jose Aldo right there signifies aldosterone, because aldosterone leads to this process, leads to more potassium secretion. So you have two classes of drugs that act at this stage. You have drugs that act directly at the aldosterone receptor and stop them. So we have a guard right here, and he is holding a spear, because that's what the weapons that they had back in the day, right before they had gravity. So spironolactone, the guard holding a spear, and he directly inhibits aldosterone receptors. The second class of drugs is a drug that inhibits the exchanger, the sodium exchanger. So this right here that leads to sodium reabsorption, this class of drugs inhibits it. So, but before we say that, we have a little girl right here. She's gonna do something reckless. What the hell is she doing? Anyway, I hope she's not gonna jump to the water. I think she is. She is going to jump in the water. I don't know if that's clean, but I don't know if that's water either. But anyway, she's gonna do it. Her name is Amelia. Amelia is gonna make a stupid decision. She's gonna go for a ride in the urine. So Amelia is gonna ride. Amelia is going for the ride. So amiloride is a diuretic, it's acid sparing, and it works by inhibiting the channel directly. So she's gonna hold a stick, but this stick is not designed to jump from it. So she's gonna hold it. While she's doing that, she's gonna pull this accidentally because this stick is anchored to the net. So once she goes for the ride, she is gonna hold this exchanger with her, and this process is not gonna be able to continue. And that's because both of these, they inhibit this process. They lead to preservation of potassium levels, and that's why they call potassium sparing diuretics. So to wrap up, loop diuretics work by leading to fluid loss. By the main ones, loop and thiazide, they prevent solute reabsorption, and water follows means fluid loss, and the other one that acts directly at the collecting tubule. Thanks so much.